This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Tuesday means it's Type 2 or Standard Tuesday, and also, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays everyone, if you celebrate such things. Anyway, today, we are heading to Standard to check out some Golgari Planeswalker action, and this is a pretty interesting take on Golgari. Very different than the normal Golgari deck where you're playing all the Explorer creatures, being kind of mid-rangey aggressive. This deck, by Pizza Law, is looking to go big with some really powerful Planeswalkers in interesting ramps. So this one finished 5-0 in a competitive Standard League on Magic Online, so congrats to Pizza Law on a super sweet deck. A quick reminder before we break down Golgari Planeswalkers for Standard. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Golgari Planeswalkers, as I mentioned before, instead of being about Explorer creatures, aggro stuff, it is looking to go big with a bunch of powerful Planeswalkers. We start off in the 4-drop slot with Karn, Scion of Urza, a great card advantage engine that also can make some big constructs to eventually take over the game, and Vraska Golgari Queen, which is kind of like a backup Karn. We can sack stuff to draw cards. We have some tricks to get lands back from our graveyard, which is nice. Works like removal, and then eventually makes it so if our opponent gets hit by a Karnstruct, for example, we don't have very many creatures, but any one of our creatures, our opponent will lose the game. So these Planeswalkers come down and basically start generating card advantage, drawing us card, finding us more Planeswalkers, removal spells, and then we get to our big Planeswalkers on the top of the curve, Vivien Reid and Vraska Relic Seeker. So Vivien Reid, kind of a strange card. It went from being essentially unplayed before rotation to being a very powerful Planeswalker, digging through the deck with the +1 to generate card advantage and fighting creatures, finding mostly lands in this deck, but we have a few creatures. Blowing up artifacts, enchantments, or creatures with flying suddenly is really effective in Standard, where there's enchantments like Experimental Frenzy, there's powerful artifacts like Treasure Map, and there's huge flyers like Niv Mizzet and Crackling Drake running around. And then if we ultimate, makes our creatures even scarier. And then Vraska Relic Seeker, more removal on a Planeswalker body, also just pirate generating, eventually putting our opponent's life total to 1. So these cards are kind of the foundation of our deck. We can have a bunch of Planeswalkers on the battlefield at once. As far as creatures, we don't have much. We have 2 Carnage Tyrants because Carnage Tyrant is really good. There's not really any other way to say it. It's just hard to deal with. It's massive. Our deck has a bunch of removal, even discounting the Planeswalker base removal. So it comes in, smashes our opponent. The more interesting creature is Wayward Swordtooth. So Wayward Swordtooth, technically a 3-mana 5/5, although it's usually not attacking and blocking right away. The bigger deal is, it lets us play an additional land each turn, and with stuff like Karn digging through our deck, Vivien Reid finding us lands, Vraska sacrificing lands, we can get extra lands pretty easily, and then we have Crucible of Worlds, which is where the Vraska combo comes in. So we can sacrifice lands for free to Vraska, and then just replay them from our graveyard, and if we have Wayward Swordtooth, we can play multiple lands a turn, which means it works really well with sacrifice lands. And we have Evolving Wilds to get all the lands out of our deck, Field of Ruin to disrupt all of our opponent's non-basics, and then one Memorial to Folly, which kind of just gives us infinite Carnage Tyrants. Like our opponent kills it, sure, we sack Memorial to Folly, we get back Carnage Tyrant, do it again, get back our Wayward Swordtooth for even more land drops. Eventually, we're just playing a ton of lands each turn from our hand, from the graveyard, and just generating a huge board full of mana, and then all those lands turn Wayward Swordtooth into a creature that can beat our opponent down too. Otherwise, Treasure Map gives us some early game card filtering that eventually turns into card advantage, also pumps our Karnstructs, and then we just have a ton of removal. Cast down Moment of Craving for the early game against aggro. Vraska's Contempt and Eldest Reborn can both get creatures and Planeswalkers, plus Eldest Reborn, nice way to get back one of our Planeswalkers. And then we have Golden Demise and Ritual of Soot as sweepers to deal with aggro decks. In the mana base, we already talked about the sacrifice lands, the Evolving Wilds, Field of Ruin, Memorial to Glory. Arch of Araska is the other interesting land. In the late game, just gives us a steady source of card advantage. Then we have some Golgari dual lands, some basic lands. Sideboard-wise, we get some more removal in the form of Tetzimoc, which is like a weird dinosaur one-sided Wrath, Playcrafter, and Eldest Reborn. Again, the upside of getting creatures or Planeswalkers. Cast down, Assassin's Trophy, good for the early game thrashing Brontodon to deal with things like the Immortal Sun, which would be really bad for our Planeswalker heavy deck. Damping Sphere is sort of catching on as a way to deal with Izzet Drakes and the Phoenix builds in specific, where you need to cast 3 spells in a turn to get back your Phoenixes. Damping Sphere makes it really hard for an Izzet deck to do that. Duress for control, Argos Bloodfast for even more card advantage. We already have a lot of stuff for control though, with Carnage Tyrants and all the Planeswalkers. That's one of the matchups we want to be playing anyway. And that is Golgari Planeswalkers for Standard. And that's our Instant Deck Tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.